This short video is to demonstrate some of the features associated with the illustrated parts list in the CMM. The Eclipse iSpec2200 application gives you the facility of displaying compliant illustrated parts list data. The data is provided with preliminary pages which contains, generally speaking, particular information which suits most occasions. Authors can change this to suit any particular requirement of their own. As I've already said, the preliminary pages part of the IPL, they're a good set of starter pages, and they include the major information areas often required in this area of the CMM. Of course, you can modify them if you want to, and we'll have a quick look now at a typical IPL page block. This is the illustrated parts list page block. Most of this text at the beginning here, the preliminary material, is describing what it's for and how to use it and what goes in the various areas of the book itself. And as we scroll down, you can see alpha A through to Z without INO. It explains what's going on in the actual page block itself. And then we come down further down here, part number column. It tells you what the various part numbers are. The indenture number, which is in the parts list, the parts which are attached. So this is a description of what you're going to see in the parts list table. This is pretty well the standard material that ATA require for their material. So we have various other information. Now you can change any of this if you want to. The various terms, parts, replacement data, various terms that we use, optional, superseded by, and all that sort of thing. Once again, if you aren't using those abbreviations, then you can change this. Just that most of the clients seem to require this sort of information in their publications. Units per assembly, view vendor code list. So these are the vendors' number and who they are. So this is what you would have to do. And then we come down to the beginning of the area where we have the parts list. There's the two illustrations. We've got two illustrations, and then we come to the parts list proper. And as you can see, there's quite a lot in this particular parts list, and I've generated this from a load of various bits and pieces so that we can actually have a decent sized table to work to. As straight out of the box, when you open up the publication to start with, there's just a single line in here. So I've added a few more lines from other publications. So you can see that what we've got there, then we've got more than one page worth of table, and then that's the end of the table. Now there are some things that you can do with this, and they are generated automatically. I'm scrolling back up again. What I'm going to do then is to scroll across a bit so that you can see a bit more of it. Right. Okay. So what we've got here now is because we're in the parts list, we can actually generate some tables automatically for you. So what we've got, the CMM equipment index. Now you can only generate these tables if there is something actually in there that it can work from. If I now click on this one, generate CMM equipment index, you'll see that we've actually got a pop-up window which says the index wasn't generated because there wasn't sufficient data in the parts list to do it. So if you don't have that sort of information in there, you can't do it. It's the same with the optional parts list. If you haven't got optional parts in there, then clearly you won't generate that table. But what we have got in here is enough information to generate a numerical index. And this is all the part numbers in order. So it just goes away and it does it for you. What you can see now is the console up there, and you can see that it's actually it feeds back the information. It's done it, so let's close that down. And if I scroll up a bit now, you'll see that actually what we've got here is we've actually got the numerical parts list here. And this has been generated from the parts list that's in there. So you don't have to bother about generating it. You can generate it yourself using our application. So that's the part. There are certain things about the IPL PageBlock that you can have as preferences, and they are specific to the IPL, and they're accessed through a separate menu item. They're limited to things like the illustration start. Where do you start it? Where do you start the parts list? And what you do with the figure title. And we'll have a quick look at those preferences now. We're going to have a look now at the preferences, and let me just move this across so you can see it better. There's the menu item, and if I click on that now, you'll see we have a drop down, and then we get down to IPL Preferences. What we have now, as you can see here, they're the fairly straightforward preferences, and it depends on you what you want or what your client wants. So at the moment, our default position is always start the illustration on the next available page, or you always start at the next left page. It's up to you how you do it. The F sheet position, that's the multiple sheet, always start at the left hand page, always start on the next available page, and then the parts list, of course. So it's up to you whether you just let the lot run on or whether you start it on the right hand page. Now you can have the figure displayed on the page if you want to. There's a top figure title. What most people want is to actually hide that. So that's normally ticked. So that's the preferences that you get. Now that will occur to all of the parts list tables that you open up unless you change the preferences again. So this is the end of the short video, which is related specifically to the illustrated parts list page block. There are other videos covering other aspects of our application.